Tonight, we're going to lead off with talking points on reaction to President Trump's historic success by getting the Israelis and the Hamas people to stop killing each other for at least a little while. Hamas is killing their own now, of course. It's never going to end. I told you that yesterday. It's no magic wand, but 20 human beings are free. And I believe the bodies of the other hostages, 4 have already been released. I think the rest are coming. But President Trump did a good job here. And anybody who denies that is not being truthful. However, the progressives are not going to change their view of Mr. Trump. They are going to continue to hate him. So how do they handle it? That's what we're going to report on tonight. And I'm going to run it down for you in a very methodical way. But you need to know there's vengeance in the air. Why? Why would there be vengeance in the air against President Trump? Because he's making the Trump haters look bad. He's tearing apart the progressive movement. You heard nothing from Bernie Sanders, nothing from Elizabeth Warren. I don't think you heard from AOC either. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. But I know what they will do, and that is move on from this story as fast as they possibly can and get right back into the Gestapo, ICE agents. Comey is a victim, right back in. And that's going to happen with lightning speed. It's already happening in some of the more hysterical progressive precincts. So I'm going to pick on this guy, John Legend, and I don't really want to, because he's not anyone of, I don't know, he doesn't have any sway over any of us. He has no power. He's an entertainer. He's a singer. John Legend. He's in the news a lot. He's a very, very ardent progressive. But his mindset accurately reflects the progressive movement in the United States. So I'm going to use him tonight as a demonstrator. All right, so you know about the Nobel Peace Prize. The Norwegians didn't want to give it to Trump. That's all it was. Did Trump deserve it? Yes, of course he deserved it. But the Norwegians are very, very liberal, and they didn't want to give it to him. Maybe if Ukraine, if there's some deal made, they'll have to give it to him next year. But they avoided it this year, and they shouldn't have. That's not honest. But here's what John Legend said about that. Go.
If Trump is able to actually earn the Peace Prize, it probably won't be enough that he's helped bring peace to the Middle East. Let's look at what else he would have to do. He'd have to stop sending Black Hawk helicopters to terrorize people while they sleep in their apartment buildings in Chicago. Yes, the so-called peace president who's ending wars around the world would also have to stop declaring war on the American people.
Okay, so what are you going to do? Mr. Legend's entitled to his opinion. I don't know why he does what he does. Certainly ain't going to help his record sales. He's an extremist. I don't feel anybody's declared war on me or anybody I know. All right, I know a lot of liberal people. I don't see any war. I don't see Black Hawk helicopters swooping down, terrorizing people as they sleep in Chicago. I don't see any of that. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm just not skilled enough to absorb the information that John Lennon and his cohorts in the progressive movement have absorbed. Okay, I'm just not smart enough to get it. But what he just said is what they believe. Because people believe what they want to believe. And you're never going to convince them. Ever in a million years. Okay, now, part of the subterfuge here, excuse me, is that Legend doesn't like Israel. You know, I always like to know who I'm featuring on the No Spin News. So he doesn't like Israel at all. Roll tape.
No matter what political disagreements and political animus and anger we have at Hamas and the leadership in Gaza, those kids are innocent.
Yes.
And I don't believe in collective punishment, and I believe that their lives are just as valuable as Israeli lives or any other lives. And so I want foreign policy to be conducted with that in mind.
Okay, so according to Mr. Legend, if Hamas attacks our country, United States, and kills 1,200 Americans, and I hope Mr. Legend would be spared, okay, we can't go after Hamas in Gaza. We couldn't use U.S. military power to avenge or punish the terrorists who killed the 1,200, just as they did in Israel, because innocent children might be killed. And that's true. They might be killed. But you don't do anything? What do you do? John Legend doesn't know. Homeowners, when is the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles, and your equity is a target. Criminals forge your signature. Just like that, your home title can be transferred out of your name. That's why I partnered up with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Please use my promo code BILL at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you will get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts of any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code BILL. The brutal truth is that Israel defeated Hamas and downgraded its leadership and created a lot of problems for that terror organization. But in the process, 50,000 civilians, that's my estimation, were killed in that war. And whose fault is that? Well, Legend would blame Israel and the United States because we support Israel. Now, he might blame Hamas too, but he said clearly, I don't believe in collective punishment. Well, what are you going to do? Then you just let them get away with it, and then they run back and hide behind their children, and you don't take any action because you don't believe in collective punishment? It's just dumb. And that is my big problem with the progressive movement. It's stupid. It has no solution to any problems. These are pie in the sky people think that they're noble and that they have a higher moral ground than anybody else. Boy, oh boy. Can you imagine if Kamala Harris, because she is a progressive president, you think those Gaza hostages would have been released? Come on. Even Kamala's husband doesn't think so. All right, President Biden finally weighed in. I was waiting and waiting and waiting. And George W. Bush hasn't said anything. Bill Clinton did. All right, Bill Clinton issued a very strong statement in favor of Donald Trump's actions. But Biden was late to the table because his crew had to get around. They had to write it. They had to debate it. He had nothing to do with it. And here's what he says, quote, my administration worked relentlessly to bring hostages home, to get released to Palestinian civilians and end the war. I commend President Trump and his team for their work to get his renewed ceasefire deal over the finish line. Now, with the backing of the United States and the world, the Middle East is on a path to peace. Maybe. I don't believe it's on a path to peace, but I believe the situation is a lot better now than it was. Now, what about Biden's administration? They did try somewhat, but failed to get the hostage released. I was involved in that. And at the end, the very end of Biden's presidency in December of last year, 24, there was movement, and there were hostages released in January of 25. The Biden administration was part of that. But the big part of it was Trump coming in. And I'm not going to go through what my role was now, but I will down the road. So I know what's going on here. I didn't object to Biden's statement, by the way. I object to Biden's presidency. It was a disaster for the world and for this country. But the statement was okay. Finally, let's wrap this thing up. It's not going to change. The progressives hate Donald Trump. The liberal media, which is about 80% of it, is not going to change its posture unless something like CBS happens, where company is sold. CBS was sold, new ownership. Disney, NBC, CNN, they're going to stay the same essentially. And that's the memo.